You may think of industrial composting as a small-scale operation that only occurs in a few states in the US, but this is a common misconception. Hello, I'm Heather Nortz with the Plastics Industry Association. Today I'll be speaking with Olga Kachook, the Director of Bioeconomy and Reuse Initiatives at GreenBlue Sustainable Packaging Coalition. She will be giving us some insight on the scale of industrial composting in the United States. Hi, Olga. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Heather. Happy to be here.
So tell us, what's going on with composting today?
So the good news is that composting facilities are growing across the country, and more of them are starting to accept food waste, which is sort of the first step to starting to accept compostable bioplastics. It's not just Seattle and San Francisco and maybe the Northeast. It's really places all across the country, across a wide range of geographies and climates that are starting to offer programs to residents and businesses that include some form of compostable bioplastics that are accepted.
It's interesting that you mentioned geographies. Why would that be a factor?
Well, you have to think about the fact that, the United States is a very large and diverse country in terms of climate. And you have places like Arizona that are hot and dry. You have places like Vermont and Maine and New Hampshire that, have winter 6 months of the year. You have areas that get a lot of rain, like the Pacific Northwest. And so composting facilities have to adapt to all of those conditions and, be able to tailor their process and sort of the recipe that they use for composting to be able to make sure that the material is continuing to break down. And I think one of the sort of impressive things is that they've managed to do that, and we are able to process food waste and increasingly compostable bioplastics.
GreenBlue has some great maps of composting infrastructure on their website. Olga, when you were putting these together, what was the most surprising thing you found?
One of the things that I think comes to mind when people think of composting facilities is these really large-scale industrial operations. And certainly there are those kinds of facilities across the country. But what we also found was that there was a lot of capacity being offered by smaller scale composting operations. So these are often community-based. They're picking up directly from residents and businesses and sort of processing that waste in a really, maybe 150-mile range of where it's being generated, which is pretty exciting. And it's places like Missoula, Montana with Soil Cycle and Recycle Revolution in Dallas. So really all across the country, and again, in a wide variety of states, we see smaller community scale composting operations that are starting to accept food waste and compostable bioplastics from businesses and residents.
Wow, it's really great to hear about the diversity and all the different locations of composting facilities in the United States. Thanks, Olga.
Thanks for having me.
Visit the link in this post if you're interested in learning more about composting in the US or to find a composting facility near you.